So I've lived in New York, I lived in the Washington, D.C. area, and briefly in Atlanta when I was a law student. And Nashville is the most livable city that I've lived in. The joke in Maryland where I lived is everything is 45 minutes away. Here, everything is 15 minutes away.
Being that I wanted to study entertainment law, there was really no better place for me than Nashville because you're in a pretty good position to study entertainment law when you're right across the street from Music Row.
Per capita, there are more people in Nashville who actually work in the music business or get their income in some sort from the music business than any other city.
If you look at Nashville over the last 10 to 15 years, the healthcare industry has boomed. As that healthcare industry has expanded and grown here in Nashville, the need for support services like legal services has also grown exponentially.
So one of the main reasons I wanted to start my legal education and continue to work here in Nashville is because it is a large healthcare hub. Over 250 companies are headquartered here in Nashville, and healthcare is Nashville's largest industry.
To be here in the middle of all that, studying law, and to actually have the tools here at Belmont to pursue a career in healthcare law, it's the perfect area.
There's a lot to do here in town. We've got professional sports teams here. We've got the Nashville Predators. We've got the Tennessee Titans. If you love live music, it's a great place to check out.
Whatever it is that you enjoy, you can find it in Nashville.
When I first moved here, I knew some names that I'd heard of who had done some major work on the entertainment law side. And I called one of the gentlemen up and said, I'm new in town, I'm trying to get to meet some people. He said, come on in. Came to his office, he took an hour out of his day, sat down, talked to me about his clients, talked to me about the business in Nashville, the atmosphere here, and had no reason to do that.
It's a big city, but it doesn't feel like a big city. I think it's very homey and people are very friendly.
I mentioned that I grew up in a town of 700 people, and I feel just as much at home here as I did back in North Carolina.
The law culture here is very inclusive. You don't feel as though you have to approach every other individual as if you're on the clock. And that allows you to really learn from not only your colleagues, but even people on the other side of the table.
There are many of us who practice in the field of health law, but all of us are sort of connected and it's easy to get to know one another.
Even at schools that have been around for a long time, the 1Ls usually have a challenge finding jobs. But there have been a lot of opportunities for students here, and I think that's partially due to the fact that the legal community is available to them.
The Nashville Predators in-house counsel had some spare tickets which he gave to somebody, and somebody gave one to me, and I just mentioned that I was looking for somewhere to work for the summer, and one of the older students said, hey, send me your resume, I'll give it to my boss. And about 2 weeks later I got a call and I got the job.
I was sitting in class before legal writing, and my professor came over and just started chatting with me about healthcare law in Nashville. She had worked in healthcare prior to teaching at Belmont and knew a lot of important people and a lot of important councils to join.
What we try and do here, especially through the certificate programs where we're focusing on a specific area of the law, is giving them more of that practical, what it's like to be a lawyer experience. So when they get out of here, not only do they have sort of the background knowledge, but they can also hit the ground running.
I have friends at many law schools whose number one complaint is that they teach you the theory, but they don't ever teach you how to be a lawyer. Where our professors day in and day out say, you'll see this in practice and here's what you should do.
You realize when you get out that it was so much better to learn it in class than to learn it as an intern at your, first job.
It's important to understand the law, important to know the statutes, know the business, but you also have to know the people.
Every student who starts Belmont Law School is paired up with an attorney mentor who is a practicing attorney in our community.
It really means a lot to have an attorney come up to you and say, hi, what's your name? Tell me about Belmont Law. Tell me what you want to do with your legal education. That says a lot, and you can't really replace that with anything on paper.
After my first visit to Belmont, I knew immediately this is really where I wanted to be.